time is December 1964. The place, 1,000 feet beneath the surface of the sea off San Clemente Island. The sea is no longer a fence impregnable, for man's control is now pressing beyond the shore and into the very depths of the dark blue ocean. The civilian and military implications of this nation's deep ocean research are far-reaching. Once we understand the problems of inner space, the magnificent resources of the oceanic world will become available to mankind, and a flexibility and power not now adequately possessed by any navy in the world will be realized. But before this can become a reality, we must develop the tools and techniques man will need to live and work in the deep ocean environment. One tool is the submersible, the forerunner of which is Captain Jacques Cousteau's Suku, or diving saucer, called Denise. The Suku, by arrangement with the Westinghouse Corporation, was one of 4 submersibles to participate in a 2-week diving operation conducted by the U.S. Naval Ordnance Test Station.
We're going topside. Turn off starboard and photo light. Keep her at a 55-degree angle with a heading of 140 degrees.
During the diving operation, the capabilities of manned and unmanned submersibles for deep ocean search and recovery and for the specialized work of submarine rescue were demonstrated. The 3 other submersibles involved in the diving operation were designed and developed by the Naval Ordnance Test Station. These included a 2-man research vehicle called Deep Jeep, a small 2-man test vehicle designated Moray, and Curve, a surface-controlled research and recovery system. At the diving site were 2 support craft and the Knott's underwater operations vessel YFU-53's Man-in-the-Sea projects. The second crew member of the Suku usually was a Knott's man who acted as observer for the pilot. Man descending into the sea to explore and perform useful work requires a submersible capable of mobility and precise maneuvers. Suku, designed specifically for undersea exploration and for only limited bottom sampling, provided useful information on underwater control when it attempted tasks demanding more complex maneuvers. In this dive, it was intended that the Suku would demonstrate the manned submersible's ability to locate an object on the ocean floor and perform a recovery, even though the vehicle itself cannot lift a heavy object. To fulfill this assignment, the submersible was equipped with a Knott's-designed inflatable recovery device. It consists of a clamp, a gas generator, and an inflatable bag.
Suku, this is topside. Continue dive and start your search pattern. We're standing by to make visual contact as you approach the target area. Suku, you're on your own, over.
The object that the Suku was to locate and recover was a dummy torpedo equipped with both a 9 and a 45 KC pinger. The Suku, equipped with a pinger receiver, descended to the sea floor and slowly rotated to acoustically locate the torpedo. It took the submersible between 10 to 15 minutes to determine in which direction the torpedo lay. Within approximately 5 minutes, the torpedo then was visually located.
Topside, we're above the torpedo and ready to attach device. Over.
Once the clamp is positioned on the torpedo, an eccentric dog mechanism precludes its coming off.
Roger, topside. Device attached, over.
Roger, Suku. Looks good. Disconnecting umbilical cord, over.
Roger, topside. Disconnecting and moving away, over.
As the submersible moved away, a cable attached to the vehicle's mechanical claw triggered an explosive valve releasing hydrazine into a reactor chamber, which generates the gas that inflates the bag. The torpedo, weighing 200 pounds, was lifted to the surface in approximately 10 minutes.
Okay, Suku.
Knots is developing a recovery device similar to this one, but capable of a 500-pound lift. Having successfully fulfilled its first assignment, the Sucoup approached the frame beneath the Knots underwater operations vessel. It was questionable that the submersible could accomplish this next task, but by careful manipulation of its two water jet controls, the vehicle was maneuvered onto the simulated submarine hatch. By just such a maneuver, some future manned submersible may settle on the hatch of a disabled submarine and rescue entrapped submariners. Now the Sucoup will pick up the spear with its mechanical claw and attempt a maneuver that would be required if a downed submarine were lying at an odd angle. In such a case, a submersible probably would have to attach a line to the hatch bail and winch itself into position on the hatch. The Sucoup again was able to perform this precise maneuver.
Okay, topside. We're moving in now to make contact with the hatch bail. Over.
Suku, this is topside. Looking good. Clear away from frame and prepare to surface, over.
Roger, topside. Out.
During the 2 weeks of diving, the Sucoup usually was placed in the water first. Following its lift out, the Knots submersible, Deep Jeep, then would be sent to the bottom. Deep Jeep is a two-man research vehicle capable of depths to 2,000 feet. Basically, it is a 5-foot steel sphere with a battery pack at its bottom and a syntactic foam float at its top. Weights, held on by electromagnets, encircle the bottom of the vehicle and are used for ballast variation. The chemicals used in Deep Jeep's air purification system provide the vehicle an operating time of 4 to 6 hours and up to 60 hours in an emergency. Unlike the Sucoup, whose passengers recline, the Deep Jeep operators sit upright.
Hello, can you read me, Deck?
Okay, Deep Jeep. Complete your checkoff list before you waterboard.
Power on. Instruments working satisfactory. Environmental system working satisfactory.
Deep Jeep is designed as a work and research vehicle. Its potential uses include performance of manned work in deep water, geological and topographical surveys of the sea floor, and investigations of ocean phenomena such as the deep scattering layer, which acts as a false bottom for sonar signals.
Heave around. Hill, start the power drive.
Having watched the launch of Deep Jeep from the deck of the YFU-53, observers returned to the instrumentation room to monitor the submersible's maneuvers about the submerged frame. In this dive, Deep Jeep was to move several hundred yards away from the control vessel then locate and home in on an acoustic pinger mounted on the frame. Communication with the surface ship is achieved with an ultrasonic telephone system which provides reliable communication at distances up to 2,000 yards. Two motors, located one on each side of the vehicle, can pivot simultaneously or separately about the vehicle's lateral axis. The submersible is maneuvered by altering the speed of these motors and the angle of each propeller. In fact, Deep Jeep's flight through liquid space is much like that of a helicopter.
Affirmative, topside. This is Deep Jeep. We see the frame just below us. Moving in now. Can you see us? Over.
Roger, Deep Jeep. I have you in sight. You're about 250 degrees from me, approximately.
Despite the fact the control systems of both the Sukhop and Deep Jeep are considered to be somewhat primitive, the vehicles were found to be capable of the hovering and settling maneuvers required for submarine rescue work and for deep recovery operations. Ideally, man would like to do on the seafloor what he does on land, tarry in some selected locale, or move rapidly to some distant area of interest. Submersibles like Deep Jeep and Sukhop will enable man to familiarize himself with a particular area, while submersibles like Moray will provide him a long-range exploration capability. The concept of a small two-man submarine is not new, but the approach Knotts took when designing the torpedo-shaped Moray is. Instead of scaling down a submarine, Knotts applied the principles of torpedo design. Moray is a positively buoyant 33-foot-long vehicle with a body diameter of 64 inches. It was developed for use as a test platform for evaluating underwater techniques and devices such as sonar, underwater television cameras, navigation systems, and power supplies. Encased within Moray's free-floating fiberglass hull are two 5-foot pressure-resistant spheres. One houses electronic gear, the other a crew of 2.